Hello there, I'm Alistair McAllister.
And I'm Doogie McDougall.
And this is Invert Hunters. On this show, we will be searching some wild invertebrates, one from every phylum.
Just to make sure all you people know out there that invertebrate means that you do not have a backbone. Simple as that.
Alright, on this show we will be having a wild adventure. I hope you're ready with our walking sticks. Let's go!
Yeah.
Hello there. We are in central Minnesota right now, and I think we have found our first invertebrate. Over here is a fascinating creature. This is a gastropod, otherwise known as a snail. It is part of the phylum mollusks. Mollusks have a muscular foot which they move along. They flex and relax their muscles. They also have a mantle up here, which secretes the shell that you can see right now. Three different classes of mollusks: gastropod, which you see here, which is a snail or a slug. There are bivalves, which are clams and mussels. Then the most popular species is the cephalopod, which is octopus, squid, different things like that. Now, I'm going to grab this snail. The snail eats its food with a rasping radula up here. It scrapes away at the food. Now, the clams and different bivalves are usually filter feeders. The water rushes through them and they filter the food out with these little cilia type things. The cephalopod eats its food with a beak, a muscular little beak that scrapes away at the food. And that is how they eat their food. These are quite fascinating creatures. I'm going to put it back on its little resting spot over here on this log. And we shall go find another invertebrate right now.
Alright, after we found our first invertebrate today, we're off looking for our second one now. Crikey, look, there he is right here. What a beautiful species we got here. This is what you call an annelid, or segmented worm. Look at all these different segments to it. There are two other classes of worms: the roundworms and the flatworms. Flatworms are very interesting species of worm. They have a least complex type, but yet one of the most fascinating. And that is because they have the capability to regenerate the lost body parts. Say, you're going fishing and you rip one in half, and you take it, a couple days later, it'll be a whole worm again. So you only have to buy a few, and you can fish forever. Roundworms, also known as nematodes, have a complete digestive tract and are the second most complex of the worm group. Now, these roundworms can be very dangerous if they connect you inside your digestive tract, but yet these are not able to regenerate, so you can't go fishing. Now, the most complex species of worms are the annelids, also known as the segmented worms. As you see here, they're broken up into many different segments, and each of these segments has its own specific functions. Now, these worms have complete digestive tracts, and they have reproductive organs. Now, segmented worms are what you call hermaphrodites, which means they're both a boy and a girl at the same time.
Ew!
Also, these segmented worms have a complete nervous system with a brain and all, but the brain is called the ganglion, which is not quite a full, complex brain, but yet another small one. Now that we're done with our second invertebrate group, we're gonna go find some more.
Having some trouble finding our third invertebrate group. We don't know where to look right now. We're having very much trouble. We are looking actually right now for arthropods. I can't seem to find it anywhere.
Look! There! On your shoulder!
I didn't even have to find this little critter. He came and found me himself. There are 4 different groups of arthropods. Arachnids, which we have here, which have 8 legs, 4 different pairs of legs. 2 chewing pedipalp. You have to be careful when you're working with these because they can be very dangerous. They will bite you with the chewing pedipalps. There are crustaceans, which are your crabs and lobsters, different things like that. Insects, which most of you know, and myriapods, which are millipedes and centipedes. One of the reasons that arthropods are so successful is they have an exoskeleton. Exoskeleton provides flexible armor-like protection, and it is made of chitin, which is a protein and polysaccharide mixture. This lets them move around, and it is very helpful for all of them. I'm surrounded by a bunch of arthropods, insects. Oh, I caught one right here. This is an insect. It's got 6 legs, and many insects can have adaptable appendages, like all arthropods. This one has adapted wings. I've got its wings. He's not going to fly away. Wings allow them to fly. There are 2 pairs of wings, 4 different wings. They also have antennae right here, which allow them to sense their surroundings nice and good. Now, arthropods have segmented bodies. Insects have 3, a head, a thorax, and an abdomen. Abdomen is the center part, which has all the legs on it, and the appendages, which are the wings. On the head are its eyes and its mouth, which allow it to eat and see. The eyes are very complex. Alright, we are done with this little bugger here, this dragonfly, so we're going to let him go. And now, I've seemed to find another arthropod, which is another insect called a butterfly. Now, butterflies have an amazing adaptation. They metamorphosize. They start out as a caterpillar after they hatch from the egg, then they go into a cocoon, and then they completely change into a butterfly, as you can see this beautiful butterfly right here. Now, metamorphosis allows for a great thing. The adult and the larvae can live in the same environment without competition for food. See, this butterfly eats its nectar from different flowers, that is its food source, and the caterpillar, the larvae, can eat different leaves and stuff, so there's no competition for food, allowing survival for all the creatures in this environment. Alright, we are done with this group of invertebrates. Beautiful species. We are going to go try and find some more invertebrates. Let's go!
This here is a wonderful species of sponge. It is the most simple of all invertebrates or animals itself. Now, this sponge is what you call a filter feeder. You see all these little pores inside here? The water will rush through these pores and collect all the little simple food with its little cilia or food collecting material. Now, most of these sponges are sessile. Now, sessile means that most of these sponges are sedentary, which means they stay in place. But as a defense mechanism, they can create toxins to warn off predators to make them flee. Now let's put this little bugger back in his environment where he belongs.
Now we're moving on to another group of invertebrates called echinoderms. Echinoderms have spiky outside shell. Oh, this is a great specimen. It's got this nice little spikes around it. It's a starfish. You can see it looks just like a star. Now, echinoderms in their adult stage have radial symmetry. That means it radiates out from a central point. As you can see, it radiates in 5 different directions out. Sometimes in its new form, they are not radial, they are sometimes bilateral. This is a great specimen, nice big starfish. I'm going to come over there and I'm going to show you up close what an echinoderm is like. Echinoderms are somewhat sessile marine animals. They move a little bit through their tube feet, which are right here. They're little tube feet down here. The water vascular system, which is not in here right now, is what pumps it pumps water out to the tube feet, allowing them to move. It gives locomotion, feeding, and gas exchange. The good thing about feeding for echinoderms is when it sees its food, its stomach comes outside of the body, grabs the food with its stomach, and comes back in. that is how any echinoderm eats. This is a great this is a great specimen of the starfish. I'm going to put him back in his home. Whoa. Alright, now we have a nice specimen of each body form of the cnidarian. The polyp and the medusa. This polyp is a hydra. It's got its tentacles on top. Medusa has the tentacles on the bottom.
Like this jellyfish. Now, this jellyfish is very dangerous if you do not hold it correctly. See these tentacles down here? They have little stingers called nidocytes. These tentacles can be very, very painful if you are stung by them. As you can see, I'm holding it by the jelly up top. Now, do not try this at home, ladies and gentlemen. This is very, very dangerous. Alright, 3, 2, 1. Oh, wow, very painful indeed.
Alright now, let's put these buggers back.
Goodbye, my little painful friends.
Through each phylum we went up in complexity. So I hope you learned a lot about each invertebrate on our show.
And now we will be off to find the millions and millions of more invertebrates all over this planet.
Thank you for joining us.
I am a diesel polyp cnidarian.
I'm a medusa. Oh,